Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. Having a few issues tonight, so we'll see how tonight's show goes. But no Peter, going out a little bit late tonight just to really do an update on all of the price increases that we're seeing across the parks. So hang out with me. Hopefully everything's going to sound all right, and hopefully everything looks all right for you guys, and we will figure it out from there. So let's see what we can figure out. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. We've got a lot to talk about today. I'm a little out of focus. I don't like that at all. Let's see how that looks. That's better. Yeah, we didn't have a show last week. We were up in Chicago checking out some of the sites up there. We went to the Field Museum and we went to Shed Aquarium and ate at Giordano's, and did the Chicago things, which was really kind of cool. Good break from the Disney stuff every once in a while. But tonight we got a lot going on. Like I said, we've got a lot going on with price increases, which in the end kind of sucks. But we're going to talk about quite a few of them since my Twitter ban has ended finally. And we'll get through a lot of them. There's about 1,000 different price increases, which really, really sucks. But like I said, it is what it is right now, and we kind of have to deal with it and make the best of it. And that's why using a travel agent is so important if you're going to Disney right now, because there's just so much going on with the prices. And if it's not, a raising the price of a ticket or an annual pass, it's stuff like character meals and the prefix menus and that kind of stuff. It's just, there's a lot of changes to try and make the parks division even more profitable, because it's really the only thing that's holding up this Disney House of Cards right now is what's going on in the parks. And they're really trying to find like a balance point and a tipping point. Because, when you think about everything else that's losing money, ESPN's losing money, a lot of the stuff on Disney Plus is losing money. They need to make sure that they can balance everything else out. And if they're going to say, hey, we're going to invest all this money into the parks over the next 10 years, they've got to figure out how to be a profitable company. And if you look at their stocks right now, it's not looking all that fantastic for them. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the news button. Got a little bit of solo action today. No Peter with Princesses and the Mouse, but we'll get through this news and kind of see what happens from there. All right, we've got 15 minutes on the news. Let's start out with some good news. So we have a couple of Moana things happening around the Disney properties. First off, Moana Journey of Water opened yesterday at Epcot officially, along with the Moana meet and greet that is there as well. It is utilizing a virtual queue, so if you understand the virtual queue process, great. If you do not, virtual queues will open up at 7 o'clock in the morning and then again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You have to get on with your party amount and get one of these virtual queue spaces. When your group is called, you have an hour to get back to the virtual queue or get to the real queue so that you can be part of the attraction. This is a good attraction. I don't know if it's virtual queue worthy as far as a priority. I would rather do Guardians or Tron over this, but that's kind of up to you on what you want to do. Like I said, we put our review up over on the YouTube page, so if you want to check it out real quick, Peter and I got to go through it as part of the D23 experience. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of places to interact with the water. The rock work around the attraction is fantastic. I mean, it's really, really good. I don't want to downplay it by any means, but when you think about it's going to go up against a Guardians for a virtual queue priority at Epcot, that doesn't make sense to me. So just keep that in mind. If you have to pick one over the other, especially if you're going during a busy time, which until about Christmas now, I don't think you're going to get a whole hell of a lot of busy Disney times. But I really think that you gotta prioritize there. The other Moana thing that's happening is the Disney Treasure released on the 10th. That the new show that will be part of that ship is The Tale of Moana. and it will be a Broadway style telling of the Moana story, which will be really, really cool. If you've ever seen a show on a Disney cruise line, they're fantastic. We were on the Dream. We got to see Beauty and the Beast on the Dream. It was unbelievable. They had another one that was more around like Mickey and his friends and that kind of stuff. It was what it was. But the Beauty and the Beast one, unbelievable. It was fantastic. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing kind of what comes out of that. Okay. Let me see if I have any other good news. Got into it with somebody on that. Candlelight Processional dinner package details and pricings were released a couple weeks ago. Definitely want to check those out. We kind of went over the schedule of the narrators a few weeks ago. Now we've got the package details and pricing. Let's see what we've got. Spice Road Table. Let's see. Spice Road Table, Alcatraz Beer Garden, Coral Reef, Garden Grill, Le Cellier, Regal Eagle, Rose and Crown. And it's 65, 65, 78, 63, 78, 104, 41, 66, 55. So anywhere from about $40 to $105, depending on where you're going. Le Cellier, by far the most expensive at $104. They do have a child price of $42, and there are child prices with basically everything else. The same-day dining packages: dine without reservations at Regal Eagle Smokehouse, barbecue that day. Guests enjoy guaranteed seats to Candlelight Processional later that night. So you have to check the availability for that, though. Because the packages are prone to selling out. So if you do want to see this, especially on those Neil Patrick Harris nights or stuff like that, where you've got some of the more popular narrators, make sure that you get your booking done for Candlelight Processional as soon as possible. Let's see. All-day park hoppers coming back. Okay, so this is good news. This kind of brings the parks full circle to before the pandemic. We're going to not have park reservations. We're not going to have park hopper access hours, that after 2 p.m. BS. This kind of was the last card to fall, was the all-day park hopper. We're getting dining plans back. So everything kind of starting January 9th. So they're going to get through that first week of January, which is always, that last week of Christmas break for most kids, especially with most kids going back on like the 8th this year. They're going to get through that week of Christmas break and then roll out all the new stuff for January 9th. And when I mean roll out all the new stuff, they made a ton of price changes to the parks. So, drinks and snacks and increases on menu items, and everything was like a quarter here and 20 cents here and 50 cents here and a couple bucks here, and it's just now when you think about a trip now, you have to add $50 a person a day. So in all reality, we were telling clients, if you were going to, stay at a moderate hotel and have the dining plan and go to the parks but not have park hopper and that kind of stuff, you're budgeting about $1,000 a day for a family of 4. Now you're budgeting $1,200 a day for a family of 4. And that means the $3,000 trip for the 3 days in the park, or the $4,000 trip for the 4 days in the park, now becomes closer to a $5,000 trip, and starts pricing people out. And this is really what concerns me with Disney travel over the next 2 to 3 years. You have no plans for major expansion. You have the Disney Forward project, but it's basically one step beyond blue sky right now. It's had a couple of meetings with the city of Anaheim. You have a rough sketch drawing of possibly what could be there. But not having any major expansion plans in the United States, and basically raising the prices on everything, doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So I think that's the first thing that's really going to work against Disney next year. Now, come August, come D23, come when they're actually going to announce things, and we'll be on this rumor train for a year, but I'll record this and then I'll look back on it when D23 comes next year. They're going to announce the expansion at Magic Kingdom. They're going to announce the change to Dino Land. They're going to officially announce the Disneyland Forward project. And there's going to be one other major project that they're going to announce that I don't even know what it is yet. So I guarantee you there's going to be 4 major projects in the U.S. announced. Plus you're going to have 2 more boats, names, layouts announced. It's going to be the biggest D23 that they've had since they released that they were going to build Galaxy's Edge. By far the biggest D23 that they're going to have. And then they're going to be like, all these price increases are worth it because you're going to be getting all this. But for the next 10 months, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything to anybody. All you're doing is raising prices because you can, and people aren't going to change their plans. So, no, and like I said, it just keeps, like, premium ice cream bars over $6. You know, alcohol increasing at bars like the Outer Rim, seen 50 cent to $1.50 bump on most drinks. And this is just on snacks and food. Then we go back and start looking at, oh, well, what did they do to the ticket prices? Well, every ticket price has increased. Every ticket price has increased. Oh, what did they do to annual passes? All the annual passes increased. And what does that mean? All the hotels are going to have a rate increase. And where you used to be able to stay at a Pop Century for $180 a night, now it's going to be $245 a night to stay. And that $65 a night is a huge deal, because that used to be the difference between staying at an All-Star and staying at Caribbean Beach. Now that's just the difference between staying at Pop Century last year and staying at Pop Century this year. It's just, it's super frustrating. Super frustrating that this is the way that Disney has decided to treat their park goers. Instead of saying, hey, let's put an emphasis on movies. Let's make sure that we get a couple of movies out here real soon. Well, the writers' strike and the actors' strike kind of ruined that plan. So now it falls back on the parks. And it's just frustrating. Memory Maker went from $169 advance purchase to $185. There's another $16 on a trip. Oh, and if you try and do it during the vacation, it's $210 now. The one day, $75 was $69. It's crazy. You know, here's your annual pass prices. Pixie Dust Pass was $3.99, now it's $4.39. Pirate Pass was $7.49, now it's $7.99. Sorcerer Pass was $9.69, now it's $9.99. Incredipass, which is basically the only one that anybody out of state can get, was $13.99. Now $1,449. Okay? So to put that into terms, you now have an out-of-state person now has to go to the parks north of 10 days to get the benefit out of an annual pass. If I go to Kings Island or to Cedar Point and pay for an annual pass for next year right now, I have to go 2 days. 2 days to get the value of the annual pass. And that doesn't include the parking. That doesn't include the discounts on food, the discounts on merchandise, or any of that. I have to go to the parks 2 days. And I basically get my money back on an annual pass to those parks. So it's just, it's frustrating when you just, it seemed like last Wednesday it was just hit after hit after hit after hit. It was just like, oh, this is going up. Oh, did you see that this is going up? Oh, these are going up too. Look at all this stuff that's getting a price increase. The Disney Nickel and Dime program's back. Oh, but you get all-day park hopper access, so have fun with that. Got a minute left. Gonna finish on a couple of fantastic things. So the first thing is Once Upon a Studio came out on Sunday, was on ABC. Yesterday it was on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, go find it. It's absolutely unbelievable. One of the best pieces of animation I've ever seen put together in my life. It was great. It was just everything that you would want a Disney short to be. And it's like 13 minutes long. It's just fantastic. Grab a tissue. You'll probably need it. What is that? That's a different sound. Okay. So the other thing is Disney released a sizzle reel. And they've done this a couple of times over the last about month and a half. And it's been really, really cool. The first one was awesome. The one that they just released is fantastic. They mix pieces of movies with videos from people at the parks. And it really ties together what Disney as a brand means to people. You know, I sit here 40 weeks a year and play the bad guy, 35 of them, on things that Disney's doing to degrade the value of what we love at the parks. But in all reality, I love to go to the parks. Because there's something about walking through that tunnel or through that gate and seeing that icon and hanging out with a character or seeing your kids on a ride that just, it makes all of this stuff worth it. Now, it's becoming harder and harder to justify that. But it really makes a well-planned trip worth the smiles and the giggles and the memories that you get from the parks. And the way that your kids tie movies to what they're doing at the parks. And the way that we as adults tie things that we remember as kids to things we do at the parks. And it's the draw of Disney. It's not getting better right now. But for me to say, I'm never going to parks again, I'd be lying to you. I'd absolutely be lying to you. Now, does it mean that I'm going to skip a few things when I go the next time? Probably. I'm probably going to have to save money in different places. But it doesn't change that the next time that we go to the parks, my kids are going to get to ride Guardians for the first time, and Tron for the first time, and walk through Journey of Water, and meet Moana, and who knows what else. And we're going out to Disneyland, and just that kind of stuff. You know, they're going to get to build on memories that we've built over the last 11 years. But we're going to continue to do it in different and evolving ways so that it makes sense for our family. And what we do may not make sense for your family, and it may not, you know, but that's the beauty of what Disney can offer, is it's such a vast experience. When you think about 4 parks, Disney Springs, 2 water parks, everything else that's associated with the parks down there, that you can find ways to build those memories without spending that extra money. And I think in the end, that's what you got to really figure out is, what do you want to spend? Have you been down there before? Do you know what you want to do the next trip? And then reach out to a travel agent. You know, Peter with Princesses and the Mouse is a fantastic travel agent. You know, I get involved with a lot of clients on, hey, they want to do these things. How do we build this vacation out? How do we build this trip to make it as memorable as possible? So, you know, reach out to us. You know, you can message us here on YouTube or on Twitch. You know, if you're listening to us on the podcast, put something in the comments on the podcast. Go to the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com. You can go to our Facebook page. You know, our Facebook page with the podcast is at DPI Podcast. The travel page at PATM Disney Travel. You can go to Twitter X now. You know, at Disney Insights. You can find us there. You know, get in touch with us. Let us know. You know, we had a great email last week. So I get a form email, and I'm just sitting at dinner one night, and my phone's just buzzing, and it usually does that because when somebody fills out a form on the website, I get the form from the website. I get an email that there was a form from the website. I get a notification that somebody was on the website. I get multiple notifications when this happens. And we had a listener send us 31 top 3 ideas. Just out of the blue, 31 top 3 ideas. And it was awesome. Some of them were fantastic. Some of them were very close to things that we've done. Some of them were identical to things that we already have on the list. But there were some on there that were just absolutely fantastic. And first thing I did was, I wrote an email back and said, thank you very much for sending these. These are awesome. We're going to put them into the rotation immediately. And then I looked at, you know, where could I put some of these ideas into our rotation to where, you know, our listeners can drive this show, and our listeners can impact the show in a lot of ways. Whether it's, you know, answering a question on the Spotify page, or, you know, reaching out to us and engaging in conversation on Facebook or Twitter. There's a lot of different ways that they can interact with the show, and we love it, and we want to see that, and we want you guys to be a part of what we're doing here, because we don't just do this for us. Peter and I, we love talking about Disney. I mean, just absolutely love it. But when it comes down to it, when we started this 4 years ago now, wow. When we started this 4 years ago, we started it with the intent to help as many people as possible figure out ways to enjoy their trips more than they ever have. And that's what we continue to do today, is we want to make sure that you're up to date on what's going on at the parks and have an idea of the good and the bad and the great and the ugly and everything that's in between, so that when you go and talk to your travel agent or you go to plan your vacation, in the back of your head you can say, hey, I saw this show and they were talking about the putt-putt course over by the Swan Reserve. Can we add that to our trip this time? And if we're able to do that for somebody, that means that we are accomplishing the goals that we set out for the show, is to expand the enjoyment of Disney for more people. So I'll get off my soapbox. I think I said enough to get me through the night. So about a 30-minute show. Thank you guys all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and get into the outro. But definitely check us out on all of our... Hey, nobody came on the show today. It was fine. We were fine. We had a good show. Check us out next week. No, don't. We won't be here. If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us a lot of different places. Easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast. Next easiest over on Twitter at Disney Insights. Those are the places where we are the most active. We also have an Instagram page that you can go over to at Princesses and the Mouse, and we've got the YouTube feed, the Disney Play. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, liking, sharing, interacting with the show, and all the